the August 21st meeting of the Harwich Conservation Commission being held in the Don B. Griffin Room at Town Hall in Harwich. This continues to be a hybrid meeting. Attendance is possible in person or online. Instructions for logging in online can be found on the agenda, which is posted on the Town of Harwich website. I'm going to start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So the first item on the agenda tonight is a notice of intent for the Harwich Conservation Trust, Hinkley's Pond, Herring River Headwaters, Jenkins Bog, map 81, parcels G1, G2-1, G2-2, G2-3, and G2-4-1, and Jacob Brown 2, Warner Bog, map 90, parcel B2 for ecological restoration.
They would like a continuation to September 5th, 2024.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move to grant the continuance.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
3 and 0 and 1. Thank you. So, next on the agenda is 101 Sequatum Road, map 101, parcel X6, for demolition and rebuild of home with mitigation plant.
Good evening, Dana Croto from Moran Engineering, Angela Tanner from Crawford Land Management is here, and Rick Roy, who's the project construction manager who does the work, if we can get through all our paperwork. And Kristen and John Kelly, brother and sister, who actually largely grew up at this house. It was their parents' house, and they're keeping it in the family. The house itself is originally was going to be rehabbed, and it's gone. The more and more was looked at, that wasn't really feasible. The chimney and these large planters were built. There's a lot of concrete on the first floor. Anybody that went by the house saw a lot of concrete on the outside. There's also a lot of concrete on the inside. And it's settling, and it's not a house that can be rehabbed successfully. So the current plan is to use, or to take the house down and construct a new in the same footprint. And that Rick could certainly go over techniques if needed for that. And also, there's the concrete wall up front, concrete patios. In the springtime, you could see beneath the concrete wall up front, and it is corroded down below. Anybody that went by recently with the sand's actually built up in front, but it was about 6 inches lower after all the winter and springtime rain, and it really is not in good shape. And then the other concrete, biggest, I mean, it's obviously stable. The biggest problem is it's any rain landing on it, and we also witnessed this over the springs. We've been working on it for a few years, and the water that lands on these impervious patios just moves down towards the pond and erodes the beach a little bit. So the idea would be to do all pervious patios, and Angela can go through her plan, add islands of landscaping to break that up. And the walkway to the concrete walkway to the water and then to the dock is it was, I think Rick and myself had talked to the owners about, we thought the commission would like that removed and replaced with actual, with decking, with some drainage there also, and it's just, I guess, a matter of time before that breaks up. So while the construction is going on, it seems certainly like the time to remove that concrete, replace it with a raised wood platform, or composite platform. And then the septic system itself would stay. So it's basically a house in the same spot. It is gaining a second floor. And then just greatly improving the drainage. I think Angela can go over the improvements in the landscaping. Rick is here for construction techniques. So the wall in front, we're going to remove the concrete and put in a PVC sheet pile wall with tiebacks. And I feel like I have more to say, but I can't think of it now, so I'll turn it over to Angela.
Okay, so I'm Angela Tanner from Crawford Land Management and Genic Studio, and we did the landscape plan. And as far as the traditional landscape components, all of the walls, the steps, the patio areas, they are staying basically similar to how they were before. They are slightly altered in order to accommodate for the new finished floor elevation. So the steps had to get reconfigured a little bit. But what we are doing is we're proposing dry-laid patios rather than concrete patios, and also punching some holes in that to give us some planting beds down there where there wasn't anything before. So some of that lower area patio is turning into native planting beds. And we are relocating the rinse station. It's still in the same general area. And there isn't really any mitigation for this because we're actually slightly decreasing the total square footage of impervious surface. But the areas that are outside of the limit of work there's a mix of native and non-native vegetation, and so we're hoping to improve that as well by removing some of the non-native vegetation, and especially on the west side, the understory there is very degraded, so we'd like to get rid of the invasive species in there and just add some more native plantings. And there's like a tiny bit of driveway that we're removing. The driveway, for the most part, is outside of jurisdiction, and that's staying out there. And then some more ornamental, what I would consider ornamental beds in the front yard within the 50 to 100-foot buffer zone. And those, we did not show on the plan exactly what's going in there, but we did include a list in the land management plan of the types of plant that we plan to use in there. So that would be a little bit broader, a more diverse list, I guess, than what's going into the native restoration areas, so that they can get some more wildflowers and pollinator-friendly things, but not anything invasive or. So I think that pretty much covered. Did you mention the trench drains? We're
Part of the patio,
yeah, okay.
even though it's pervious, obviously, in heavy rain, there will be some runoff. So we do have trench drains between the patio and the wall in front. The proposal would be to have it up 6 inches or so water couldn't get right over it. So there'd be trench drains in front of that going back to a stone leach field under the patio. I also wanted to bring up we are in the middle of permitting the dock also. Mark Burgess from Shorefront has had that project for a while, but due to his backup, he hasn't gotten that filed yet, but it is in the middle of, the owners are aware they need to to get the license for that. The dock's been used there for a long, long time, but they are aware it needs to be licensed. And they're in the process, and they have hired people to do it. I did the base plan, and Mark's working on the permitting part, where that stands.
Did you have anything to add?
I think I'd add, whatever questions they want answered as far as the construction process, but if you want me to describe some of that, I can do that.
We'll wait and see if there are questions,
Okay.
and which you can respond to. All set?
I think so.
I would just say, if you do have to say anything, we do need you to come up to a microphone, so. This is, it's an overall improvement, so they're not required to do mitigation because they have a slight reduction in both the 0 to 50-foot buffer and the 50 to 100-foot buffer in terms of hardscape. In addition, I think it's great that you're breaking up the patio. It's just a lot of concrete, and a lot of water just kind of flowing, sheeting off the patio and the house, and in a sensitive area, so even a little bit of infiltration would be a benefit. Then, I really don't have a whole lot. I guess the question I have is, what's the scale kind of the tiebacks, Rick, for the wall? Just out of curiosity.
So we will obviously have to get that engineered, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that there probably won't be any tiebacks. What I would propose to do, which I think is good for the environment, is that we would, after we had the house torn down, we're going to build this like a ship in a bottle, so we're going to want to try to work within the area that we've disturbed by taking the house down. And this is why it's a good time to make sure that the wall's in good shape, because we would go down. But I talked to the excavator today, and I believe that if we use 10-foot sheets, all right, and we drive them in, that 3/4 of the sheet will be in the ground, which I believe will be more than sufficient to hold back the minimal amount of grade that there is there. So I don't see that there would be any tiebacks that would really be necessary for that. I think it'd be pretty quick. And then once we had, and my idea is to put the sheet piling in, and then remove the concrete wall that's there, because then I'm containing any of the debris that comes out of the wall, so that, we've already set up the barrier to protect the pond. And then as we work our way out, whatever regrading has to be done, we would try to do that, for the patio areas before we even poured the foundation. And then that, because we don't have much access to it once we put the house in, we only have one side that we can come down, so we'd be trying to be considerate of access, use the foundation hole to get whatever we need that's going to be beyond the house squared away. Obviously, we can't put patios in or whatever, but, we can certainly take care of, regrading the fill. So I think that the dynamics of the way the project would be constructed would, we'd have a really good containership of what it is that we're doing, and of course, I've done this a million times, so, I think it would be fine.
I guess I would just ask if you do end up needing them, just to have a little bit, like a sketch detail, if you end up needing.
Yeah, so basically
Anything
what,
more substantial?
what'll happen, okay, is that, obviously going through this process, the next part is the building permit process. So there will probably be sketches to foundation details and everything else like that, and we'll just include that. But
Yep.
I'm pretty confident, okay, that I would say probably if the materials were on the job site and they were ready to go, they could probably put that sheet piling wall in a day,
Yeah.
2 tops, okay? And then the only thing that has to happen is it gets cut level and you cap it with, some sort of material. But, the practice of leaving it 6 inches up is the same practice that they use in Dennis in the fingers. So it helps to catch any of the nutrients or whatever, and that's part of the reason why you vegetate, so that they
Yeah.
can absorb the nutrients so they don't go into the pond. So it's definitely an improvement from what's there, okay? So I think everything that we're doing is moving everything in a very positive direction, so.
Yep. I would agree.
I would say I did submit a sketch of the wall.
Sorry if I missed that.
It's on the beach access walkway.
Oh, it's on the access wall.
I showed, Rick and I talked about this during one of our site visits, and we went back and forth whether we'd want a whale or not a whale. And I did show it on there in case they do need it.
I know it's there somewhere. I do remember it
But,
now.
but, a maximum 4-foot wall. If it's stable enough, the soil, that they're driving the wall into, then we're good. If it's, if the first 3 feet's loose, then you're not, then maybe they do want tiebacks.
And the
But-
idea is that, what they do is they use a helical anchor. So again, with the, an excavator, they can actually reach out without having to go beyond the face of the wall. It gets driven at a 35-degree angle, and then when they put the whale on, they just make the last connection piece, which is all done by hand, and then it gets bolted to the whale. But, I'm certainly intending, I would rather see them buy a longer, the sheet piling comes in different grades. So, and it really doesn't cost that much more to go to a heavier grade, a heavier gauge. So if we feel that, based upon the engineer's decision, that, we have to drive deeper into the ground so that it gets more stable, I would rather see us spend the money on getting a longer sheet pile so that we don't have to do any of the tiebacks. Because then it makes the project pretty non-invasive.
The only other thing I had is, for your ornamentals, I appreciate that you're gonna hopefully do a mix of natives, and ornamentals. And I would just say that the Conservation Commission will require that there be no fertilizers, pesticides, or herbicides. So when you're picking your ornamentals that you're gonna use, try to pick ones that really don't need the fertilizers. But with that, I think the invasive removal is a great added bonus, and I think you're adding a really nice, appropriate array of native plantings that will enhance the area that you would naturally kind of find in that area. So I would recommend approval as presented.
Okay, thank you. Sophia?
I'm just gonna add to Amy's compliment. It's a really nice planting plan, and it's nice to see not just boxes being checked, but like the whole, it is such a sensitive area. So, yeah, good job. And that's it.
I would agree with Amy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Looks good to me. It looks like a great improvement.
Okay, I agree with previous comments. I have one question, which is about the beach. And mentioned that there was a lot of erosion there earlier, and when I was there visiting, it looked like non-local sand to me on the beach. So my question is, has there been sand brought in, or is that just stuff that has washed up from?
Apparently it builds back. I asked the same question, because it does look different than in the spring. It looks 6 inches higher, we could see under, but apparently it's just from the springtime wind. It's almost, and Kristen and John aren't even there very often, and she said no, that they hadn't done any work on it. I thought they had just raked it up, and I was asking if they had raked it covered, but no, apparently that's natural. Almost like the ocean, the way the pond works sometimes, erodes in the
pond that
winter and
big.
builds back a bit in the,
Well, those north
Summer.
winds.
yeah, blew back in, I guess. Yeah, it does.
We do
the
get a
beach
lot
looks
of-
nice.
We get a lot of accretion on the west side, right by the fish ladder, which is very fine sand that accretes there too, so.
Yeah, the beach, it looks much better in the summer than after the winter rains, for sure.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any comment, questions from the public? Anybody in the room? Anybody online? Okay, it doesn't sound like it. We have a motion.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Anything further? Hearing nothing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, next we have a request for determination of applicability for 88 Hoyt Road, map 15, parcel K4-3, for an in-ground swimming pool installation.
They would like a continuation to September 5th so that they can add the patio on the plan.
Okay, I'll move, we continue this hearing till September 5th.
I'll second that.
Wayne?
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. Next is a request for determination of applicability for 99 Gorham Road, map 24, parcel A2, for a hand-cut footpath.
They would like an indefinite continuance. Mr. Chair, they will have to re-notify abutters when they're ready to come back to us.
Okay, I'll move to continue this hearing indefinitely.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. Next is filing for an extension permit for an order of conditions for 5 Fiddler's Landing, map 6, parcel A1-8, SE 32-2469, for a permit for the removal of an existing home, construction of a new house, salt marsh, and buffer zone restoration.
Did- Go ahead.
It's a request for a 1-year extension.
Yep, they're just their engineer is a little bit backed up. They're just waiting to get the as-built site plan. Likely less than a year is needed, but I said a year. They should ask for it just in case. Things are looking pretty good.
Okay,
I'll move that we grant the extension for 5 Fiddler's Landing, map 6, parcel A1-8, SE 322469.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Next is also a request for an extension permit for an order of conditions for 0 Snow Inn Road, map 15, parcel N8-B, SE 32-2475, for the construction of a dock, dredging, and planting in Witchmere Harbor. The request is for a 2-year extension to continue marsh monitoring.
They've been submitting their required monitoring reports. Project is going well. They'd like the 2-year extension to be able to continue to monitor the marsh and replant the bank and marsh as needed.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the 2-year extension for, let's see, 0 Snow Inn Road, map 15, parcel N8-B, SC number 32-2475.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. Next is an order of conditions for 9 Fiddler's Landing, map 6, parcel A1-9, SE 32-2567, for elevated hot tub and plantings.
I drafted the conditions for you. If you have any comments on the special conditions, I'd love to hear them.
Comments? Time to review? I have no comments.
No.
Okay. Can we have a motion? Okay, I'll move to approve the order of conditions for 9 Fiddler's Landing, map 6, parcel A1-9, SE32-2567 for elevated hot tub and plantings.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Next is a certificate of compliance for 2259 Head of the Bay Road, SE 32-194 for the construction of an addition and a septic system.
So this old order is pretty much irrelevant. There have been subsequent orders of conditions and certs of compliance that have trumped this one. They're more recent. The house, it's not even the same as it was back then. This is just a hindrance on the deed. It wasn't caught, so I would recommend you issue a certificate of compliance for this project.
Any discussion? Don't hear any.
I'll make a motion, we issue a certificate of compliance for 2259 Head of the Bay, SC number 32-194.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Okay, discussion and possible vote, update on the Herring River study.
I put that there as a hopeful to have a update for you, but I don't have an update from the contractor. I'm assuming that they did all the work that they were supposed to do this summer on the study, and now they're just putting things together, but I'll just get back with them and remind them that, they're due soon for us to have report to the Conservation Commission, so. I mean, it seemed, I had reports throughout the summer that they were going out and doing the work, been paying the bills, so. Yeah.
Okay.
I unfortunately don't have any further updates for you.
Questions? Discussion? Okay. So, it's not even 7 o'clock and we're at the minutes. So there are 4 minutes, June 5th, June 20th, July 3rd, and August 7th, all 2024.
You printed out the ones for August 7th, just because we just finished those up, so those are on your table. They were in Dropbox too. The other ones have been in Dropbox for several weeks now, so we didn't bother printing those. And John made some comments about a set or two, and we incorporated those, mostly grammatical changes.
Not addressing substance, just spelling. Minutes to review.
I'm good.
Do all 4 of them together if you want.
I'll move for approval of all 4 minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0.
I've got 2 quick things. So, the Cape Coastal Conference is September 18th and 19th at the Witchmere Harbor Club. John signed up to go. I'm going to go one day. Lily's going to go one day. It's put on by the Cape Cod Commission. It's about the melding of the economy and the environment here on Cape Cod. So if you want to go, there might still be a chance for me to sign you up to go. We will pay for you. It's not cheap. Yes?
Is it a thing where one day could be done?
Yes. I just don't know which day is like heavier on the environment. Well, I haven't checked recently to see if they put out an agenda yet. But yeah, you could do one day.
Okay.
It's
I'd be interested then.
one Cape, not Cape Coast.
That's what I meant, sorry, the One Cape Conference. There's also a Cape Coastal Conference,
Where is it gonna be held?
the Witchmere.
Ah.
So it's on, the 18th and the 19th, and I know, Sophia, you said you're not here on the 18th for the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the 19th.
Yeah. Let me know
Okay.
at the next couple of days, and if you want to go, we can see if there's availability to get you in.
Thanks, okay.
Yeah. Then on September 21st, we're going to have more publicity about this. The town of Harwich is putting on our first annual emergency preparedness fair. It's going to be over at the community center between 12 and 2. And it's a kind of a collaboration, again, between health and conservation, as well as emergency management. Going to have little presentations and demonstrations, like how to use a fire extinguisher and how to, what things you should have in the event of an emergency in your home. But for conservation, we're going to be there to talk about what you can do on your properties to make them a little bit more resilient in a natural fashion, and to also teach people a little bit about things that are happening with climate change and weather-related events and how things are geographically changing out here. So hopefully it'll be a success like our fair we had earlier this spring. So. And we have a hopeful, there was a selectman interviewed somebody for this commission today. I am hopeful they will be starting in September. So, to be
Good.
seen. We still need more, so if you know people.
I've been trying.
Yeah.
I have one thing I'd like to bring up,
Mm.
which is the Red River Herring Run, which in past years,
Yes.
I have participated in clearing that out. It's a little late in the season, but I don't think it's too late, and it's very
I noticed the other day
overgrown. And I would,
on a work day.
I'm willing to do whatever needs to be done to try to get it organized, but, you know, Brad used to bring this up on a regular basis and sort of,
I can bring it up to Don, and I'll certainly loop Brad in as his role.
I just want to make sure we're not doing anything that's going to interfere. The herring aren't leaving yet.
No.
But it probably really should be.
October, they usually leave, late September, October. But I can certainly talk with Brad. It would kind of be natural resources to kind of spearhead it, but I'm happy to assist with organizing a work day out there.
Okay. And HCT usually.
Yep, I'll be in touch with HCT. We usually get volunteers from the various departments and organizations to come out. I was just there Monday, because I was at the Heffernan property. And they have a knotweed starting, so they want to tackle that. So I'm gonna,
There was not, is it not?
there's frag farther up.
Fragment.
No, there's knotweed that's starting on their bank. So they're gonna be started this year for treatment and then follow up with a bigger application
Chemical treatment?
with a certified
Yeah.
applicant. Yeah. But it's a early infestation of that. We want to get it out of there, so.
Okay.
How much water's in the stream down there coming out of the Skinny Pond? Enough for the little ones to get out of there?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drought year, that was questionable.
Oh, yeah, they didn't, I don't know if they got out.
I think they finally got out. But
Very
Brad-
late.
I went over there with Brad, that was 2 years ago, right?
Years ago.
Um,
Yeah, there's probably,
Oh,
at the
that's,
Heffernans, there was this much.
oh, that's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
That's
still
at the
titled
out.
there. It's titled on the downstream side of Uncle Beanie's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all freshwater plants on the Heffernan side, so I think that culvert
Maybe
does it,
that's the end
it
of it,
restricts
yeah.
it enough that it's not salt up there.
Hopefully.
All right,
we'll
I
get some
can,
rains Between now and.
Yeah, we usually do,
September.
hopefully.
I can talk with, I'll send an email to Don and HCT and see if we can put together a work day, and I'll just check with Brad to make sure the timing's okay. And invite him to come.
Right, and we just need to select a day when it's close to low tide at 9 o'clock in the morning.
9 AM is John's request.
Oh, I don't, that's what, I actually don't care. Depends on the day, but typically it's been a morning project.
Yeah, it's usually been a morning project. We usually can do it, it's usually done by lunchtime.
Right.
I have a question. What's going on with the Main Street Bog Tech School project?
I don't
Haven't heard a
know,
thing about it in a long time. Nothing?
me either.
Huh?
Well,
I did email the tech over the summer, and I know that they probably only check emails, I emailed Bob Sanborn just to reach out and say, just checking in and seeing what your plans might be for the fall, excited to be part of this, and I haven't heard.
Yeah, there's a patch of Phragmites up there that's
Oh, yeah.
taken off. Yeah.
I'm hoping their, horticulture and forestry program maybe be able to help take care of that.
And what's in that building? Do we know? Is there any storage still going on? It's padlocked.
I don't know,
I have no idea, huh?
sorry.
Just curious.
do we need an update?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
I can ask again.
Yeah.
Either from the town or the tech or both. Okay. Next meeting is gonna be more exciting. We have a couple other bigger projects coming. So 11 River Bend, which is in front of Waterways tonight, which you may have been seeing some of the comments if you follow anything on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
That will be here. But I'll get an update on how Waterways went, I'm sure, tomorrow. So we have that. We have, hopefully our person starts and we can do the HCT projects.
Yeah.
And we have one or two other bigger projects, so,
Good.
yeah.
So it's on our
It's
next
a
meeting is
Thursday.
Thursday, on an everyday week.
It's Thursday the 5th, so if everybody,
It's a busy week.
Yep.
Tuesday is primary.
Tuesday's primary day. That's why, yeah, and then selectmen actually meet on Wednesday, which is hopefully when our person will get appointed. Okay. I get her prepped ahead of time.
Anybody we know?
Yeah, somebody I know, somebody that was an applicant a couple of years ago
Oh, yeah?
and had a very tough project, and she was very impressed with the process and how things were handled and everything, and she said when she retired, she wanted to be part of this, and she just retired,
Oh, good.
so,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
so, John and I met with her informally, and she had her interview today, so hopefully it went well. And I'm excited to have her. She seems to have the desire and the,
Mhm.
time and ability, so I think she'll be good.
Good.
Step in the right direction, definitely.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
anything else?
Not for me.
Okay, we have one more item of business.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting of, what is the date
All those in
today?
favor?
Of August something.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That was